Hello, Europe. I'm Alexander Alexeyev, the president of the Art Directors Club of Russia. Let me present you, in my humble opinion, the very best work which comes from Russia this year. Interestingly enough, all those projects are the contenders for the Grand Prix, which is a very rare thing for Russia. And this year we have one. So it was very hard to select because, interestingly enough, all those works, they have a lot in common. What they have in common is that they promote the brands that are seriously heading into the future to change the world, to make it a better place to live in. Who will live in this better place? Would it be the people in Siberia because of catastrophic wildfires? They need help there. Would it be just birds because one of 8 species in the world becomes extinct? Would it be children with cerebral palsy, which nobody cares about but their relatives? The world can be changed because the brands have the pivot, have the desire, have the DNA to make this world a better place. This is a very strong message which comes with those works, with those genuine works of this year, to you, to the whole world. Thank you. Enjoy the show.
Good afternoon and welcome. Today I'm going to present Font of Kindness project, which I hope made a difference in social advertising in Russia. I represent creative agency Smetana, and I can say that the project revealed how much and how fast brands and people can be involved in social advertising for the good. First of all, let me reveal some facts about cerebral palsy. Among every 1,000 children in Russia, 5 kids are born with cerebral palsy. However, there is little information about this problem. Children are not integrated into the society, and average person rarely sees such children in everyday life. Cerebral palsy doesn't have a happy end. Children are forced to fight the disease all their lives. However, repetitive rehabilitation courses can make their life easier and give them a chance to study and achieve better quality of life. But due to financial reasons, rehabilitation is not freely available for many of them. It needs to be said that in 2019 in Russia, there were about 50 charity funds to help children with cerebral palsy, but usually their advertising was low performing. Reasons are simple. Budget limitations that create lack of media and creative resources. And all this leads to low awareness about the problem among wide audience, and as a result, necessary amount of donations. We decided to change this, but how to draw attention to the problem, stand out from the information clutter, and explain to the people importance of help? We decided to use the most common thing, the font. It could be seen almost everywhere in our everyday life, on the streets, in the shops, in public transport, in the internet, mass media, and advertisements. We are all surrounded by letters. This is how the idea of unique font of kindness appeared. Each letter was handwritten by a child with cerebral palsy and transformed into ready-to-use Latin and Cyrillic fonts by the designers. We also created a website where the font could be freely downloaded for personal or commercial purposes, and asked people and brands to use it. Website contained information about cerebral palsy, information about children who took part in the project, payment form for donations, and brand shop with hoodies which could be produced with personalized lettering on it. And all this created a good opportunity for brands, mass media, and wide audience to join. First brand that was inspired by the idea was Rosbank, and it created a start of a positive buzz among other brands and mass media. We also decided to start the campaign on October the 2nd, on the International Day of Cerebral Palsy, which was unknown in Russia before then. But until the official release, we didn't even know what effect the campaign can deliver. Just in one day, the font spread all over the country. Brands and mass media logos, posts and articles were written with a font. TV shows, social media, lottery tickets, outdoor advertising appeared to support the project. And it needs to be said that we still don't know exact amount of brands that supported us. But what do we know seems incredible. More than 400 brands changed their logos to support us. More than 100 celebrities and bloggers. More than 70 main Russian mass media resources. And during the first days, request cerebral palsy day increased from 10 to more than 1 million in Yandex search. As a result, we received more than 10,000 downloads of the font, about 8,000 purchases of branded hoodies, and in general, project received about 30 million in media and PR coverage. We collected about 16 million rubles, and this is a really breakthrough result in comparison with previous social campaigns. It is 6 times more in money equivalent, and as a result, 130 children got a chance to receive rehabilitation. Thank you for your attention, and I can say that as a part of Smetana agency team, I am very proud to make this project happen. And the most impressive result that we found out is that if you take responsibility about things, you can change almost everything. Thank you.
Hello, let's talk about charity, or rather, let's talk about charity communication. The majority of charity ads are created with the purpose of attracting attention to societal catastrophes or evils. However, society has a very short attention span and is quick to switch its attention to a problem that is more discussed at the moment. Thus, ads do not have a sustainable effect and work as one-offs, which makes modern fundraising really hype dependent. Without a predictable and sustainable inflow of money, funds cannot plan their budgets and implement their projects. And unless a self-running ecosystem providing regular funding is found, the common beneficiary of charity ads will most likely be their creators winning prizes at festivals. Another consequence of this fund hype dependency is the, so to say, inequality of social causes. Not all of them get the same attention and the same funding. So let's, for example, take birds. Birds? Why birds? Who cares about birds? And that's exactly is the case. Nobody cares about birds, whereas 1 in 8 birds in the world is facing extinction, and about 40% of bird population is declining. Birds are extremely important for the balance of the ecosystem, but unfortunately for the birds themselves and WWF, our client, who is struggling to increase the bird numbers and stop their decline, there are more dramatic problems at the moment, such as sick kids or global poverty or ecological catastrophe, etc. So nobody indeed cares about birds. And that's not all. We are living in Russia, so this is a Russian project. And if you look at Russia, you can say that Russia is not a very giving nation. According to CAF statistics, more than 50% of Russians have never donated to any charity, and only 2% of those who ever had donate on a regular basis. So now you could see how big our challenge has been working out to create a self-sufficient ecosystem that could work for an unpopular problem and provide fundings for WWF in a country where nobody wants to give. Is it possible after all? Is there a chance to do it? We didn't know when we started this project, but we're proud to say yes, it is possible. And this is the recipe. So let's look at its ingredients. So this is what you need. You need a self-running mechanics. You need scale to be added up to this mechanics. You need an attractive creative wrapper to get the interest of people and get them involved. And you need to offer people various ways to participate in your project. Let's look at this. If you hear this, you can understand that birds can create content which could be distributed for money, which in its turn could go back to birds. This model works perfectly in music streaming industry, where artists receive payouts every time their tracks are played. And then we thought, what if we record the bird songs, make samples, invite artists to use these samples and make music, and then the birds will receive payouts every time the tracks are played. And that's the model we came up with. We tried to produce it, so we have it. So we got the mechanics. These are the partners who helped us to scale up this model. Especially for us, the Union for the Protection of Russian Birds recorded the bird songs from all over Russia, from the whole territory of Russia. And then the Universal Music Group helped us to get in touch with the artists, including our main star, Ivan Dorn, who is famous and very original artist, but also he is very well-known eco-activist in Russia. Using our bird samples, Ivan recorded the first track, which is to be followed by other musicians. And then there's also Yandex Music, the large streaming platform in Russia, where the tracks are stored and played, and every time the tracks are played, birds receive the payouts. So, now we have the Birds Records. That's the first ever label in the world monetizing bird songs. That's our creative rapper. That's how we made it interesting for people. And now let's see how people can participate in Birds Records. So that's the total scheme of participation. Birds sing, the songs are made to samples, and if you are a musician, you can use any sample to make your own track. And every time your track is played, the birds receive the money. Suppose you do not compose the music, but you like the music, you can listen to those tracks on Yandex Music, and again, birds receive the payouts every time you listen to the track made by somebody else. Suppose you don't like music, so you don't like composing the music, you don't like listening to the music, then you can buy the merchandise, very nice and stylish hoodies and caps and other accessories, and the money that we receive from the sales of those accessories can go back to the birds. And of course, there are normal, regular ways to donate. So that's the total scheme. This is where we are now. The project is running, and these are the first results. Already now we can say that this is one of the most commercially successful WW projects. We already received more than 500 tracks made from bird samples, and the first Birds Records album is in production. So in conclusion, what we learned in process? We know that it's important to attract attention and create hype around a social problem, but if you really want to help, it is absolutely necessary to make it on a self-running basis. So a self-running ecosystem works much better for overcoming social challenges, and our case shows that this is possible to create such a system in a country where nobody wants to give for a problem that is not so popular in the moment. So for the most challenging conditions. You can create this problem, or you can borrow this problem from somewhere else. Like we borrowed our self-running model from the music streaming industry. So this is the final call to action. Make music, listen to the music, and thus help birds to save themselves. Thank you.
Hello, Europe. My name is Oleg, and I'm a creative director with TutkovBudkov Volgograd. Thank you for inviting us to present a true brand for the future, which we are lucky enough to have as an account, S7 Airlines. But before I start, let me back up a bit and show you a picture of this man. Do you know who he is? Well, how about now? Indeed, this is Professor Valery Legasov, a man who helped mitigate the consequences of the worst nuclear disaster this world has ever seen. But he also a man who gave up his own life to expose the deep flaws inside Soviet nuclear program. Sometimes a sacrifice is the best way to spread awareness. And in summer 2019, our client S7 Airlines sacrificed their own brand to make light of this.
Have you heard what's happening in Russia right now? I don't know if you've seen this on the news, but there are wildfires in Siberia.
An unprecedented number of wildfires.
Over 15,000 square miles of Siberia were engulfed in flames. There was no relief operation and no way to contribute. S7 Airlines is Russia's largest private airline, and before 2005, it was known as Siberia Airlines. And now it was a time to get their old name back. On August 1st, 2019, S7 Airlines changed their brand to Siberia across every level of communication. I'm talking website, airports, and even an airplane was given a paint job to reflect the new branding and the new logo. Now, the media had to speak up, and a national conversation on the wildfires had begun. Soon enough, S7 Airlines, now Siberia, made a pledge to restore forests in the region. And now, over 1 million trees are being planted as we speak. S7 Airlines' example shows great hope for the future, where brands can leverage their marketing resources, their big budgets, not to commercialize, but to spread the word and to mobilize people into communities that want to make the world a better place. What I'm trying to say is, if we manage to do this in Russia, then you can do it too. Let's make our clients care, and let's use that power, the power of their voices and ours, to make big issues heard across the planet. Thank you for your time. Wear a mask, and all the best from Volgograd. Goodbye.